You know, so how can I help you, Bob? it just seemed like a funny way of saying it, Bob.
Nobody makes the world laugh quite like Rowan Atkinson. But here's what you don't know about him. These are the moments the most honest man in comedy left interviewers with nothing to say.
Before I do, I wonder if I can ask all of you for some favourite scenes that you loved filming, for whatever reason, you can tell us about.
I have none. I can't think of anything I enjoyed filming, but that's just me when I'm filming, so I will go to that. Yeah.
And then he went further about the character that made him a fortune and made the world laugh for 35 years.
I probably enjoyed playing Mr. Bean the most because he's a character who's furthest away from my own character. As a person, I don't like him at all. I think he's very odd and pretty weird and not very nice.
Billions of people laughed at the opening ceremony of the 2012 London Olympics featuring one of the greatest orchestras on earth. But his revelation was truly astonishing.
Sir Simon Rattle and the London Symphony Orchestra. Although actually on the night, you know, everyone was miming. Because we were doing it outdoors, the London Symphony Orchestra couldn't possibly have their, you know, extremely valuable instruments risk being rained on. So the only way we could do it was to pre-record the whole thing. So Simon Rattle and the others, I hope I'm not, you know, revealing secrets that they would rather keep hidden. He was waving his arms about just like I was, just, you know, miming to the music.
Today, he is one of the most recognized faces on earth. But did you know that Rowan Atkinson never trained as an actor at all?
I actually had a chance to talk to Richard Curtis once, and I was asking him about his beginnings in comedy, and he said that when he was at Oxford, he thought he was pretty darn funny. Right. And he was going to go up and do something in a review.
Right, yes.
And he said, but before he went on, he goes, this guy goes up there, who he had never met before,
right,
and holding just a piece of paper, he made everyone laugh for 7 minutes without saying a word. Right. And he said, that was you.
That was me.
And there's one more thing about the boy from County Durham that almost nobody knows. As a child, Rowan Atkinson stammered, but he made the whole world laugh without saying a word.
And I was asked if I wanted to do something, and I couldn't think of anything, and I'm not really a very diligent writer, so I thought I just stood in front of a mirror, to be honest, and I just started pulling faces, I mean, for want of a better term, and I just sort of, you know, was doing this...
By 26, he had done something no one his age had ever done. Headlined his own one-man show in London's West End, the youngest performer ever to manage it. Hollywood should have been next. Instead, he made a historical comedy so expensive and so badly received that the network came very close to burying it forever.
Pigeon. The big change between the first series and the second series was we went from a very extravagant, location-based, semi-film-like texture to something, well, we just had to make something much more effective and much more funny and much more cheaply. So we ended up with a sort of 3-set sitcom. So there are only 3 sets and the action just moves between the 3 sets. And then the third series, yeah, we were in the Regency period with George III on the throne and the Prince Regent in charge, is that right? Sorry, history was never my strong point. You know, Richard Curtis and Ben Elton, who really made the Blackadder what it was. It was just whatever they thought was going to work best.
Then, in 1990, he built a character who barely speaks at all. And that one didn't need translating.
It didn't have a name. He didn't have to have a name because there were no words spoken in the sketches in which he featured. They were silent sketches. But then when we thought, actually, these sketches are quite funny, it's quite an interesting idea to develop a comedy character who doesn't use words. Television comedy had developed from radio comedy, which was a very wordy, you know, tradition, and we had to give him a name in order to give the television show a name. So we came up with the name of Mr. Bean.
Remember the engineering degree? In 2001, it stopped being a piece of trivia. Rowan Atkinson was flying over Africa in a small private plane with his family on board when the pilot slumped forward unconscious at the controls. He has never made a fuss about it. He almost never mentions it. And it isn't the only time his love of machines nearly cost him everything. Because Rowan Atkinson is one of the most serious car enthusiasts in Britain. And he once wrecked one of the rarest supercars ever built, producing what was reported at the time as the largest repair claim in British motoring history.
So, for example, if you were presented with McLaren F1,
So where does he get his optimism and cheerfulness to convey to the audience? He gave the answer years ago, and it's the most serious thing he's ever said about comedy.
Believer in what Charlie Chaplin said is that a life is a tragedy in close-up and a comedy in long shot. If you sit back visually on a situation, it automatically becomes funnier.
So what does a man do at 71 years old when he's already conquered television, film, and the entire planet? Here's the answer, and it's the best joke of his life. The man who says he isn't naturally funny. The man who admits he doesn't much enjoy performing. Has announced he is going back on stage. A limited run. His first live show in roughly 35 years. Old sketches, new material. Written once again with the same friend he met at Oxford half a century ago. 71 years old. An engineer who became a comedian. A boy who couldn't speak, who made the world laugh without saying a word. And a man who, after all these years, still won't tell you he loved every minute. He'll just quietly go do it again. So tell me in the comments, which Rowan Atkinson moment surprised you the most tonight? And if you love legends who refuse to pretend, the man with no name, the man with the whip, the man from Wales, and the greatest voice on earth are all waiting for you. Right here.
One final question. You've obviously achieved enormous success over the years.